Welcome to the Party Invite podcast, where we strive to bring together a diverse group of enthusiasts to play, discuss, and enjoy everything video games. I am Vilos, and with me is the incomparable SovereignSyd.
Hello, I'm incomparable.
You make it sound like a condition when, when you say it.
I'm incomparable. Help me.
And tonight we're discussing the big three gaming services that are trying to provide gamers a ton of value. That's what our party topic is going to be about. We're going to dive deep into that. And you know what? We are down a couple guys in this podcast tonight,
Oh yeah, you
but
know what? I
we're
never
very
even thought to mention that. I was just ready to go. I was like, we're golden. Yeah. But we are missing Tegan and Chris. And not for anything bad or anything. They're all well and healthy, but they're just not joining us today. So everyone in the chat and in the people listening online, just give us a little round of applause for them. Pour one out or what have you. Yeah.
It's just one of those Thursday nights. But before we get into that party topic, we always get into a little bit of what we've been playing, right? Right? Maybe. So I'll go ahead and get started on that. The very first game, I'm not going to say a whole lot, but Onde
Is
is
that how
a
you say it?
beautiful. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So in my review, I actually recorded me saying it Onde, and then once I did all the research and stuff, I was like, ah, shit, they're French, so it's Onde. So yeah, in the I did a whole review on a musical story in Onde, and concluded that Onde is fantastic and everybody should play it. That's really it. You don't even need to watch the review. No, you actually should watch the review. But Onde is just a super cool, very mesmerizing experience. I likened it a lot to Grease from 2018, which was one of my favorite games of that year.
Okay.
Uh, just a visual spectacle. Definitely had some great music. Gave off a lot of Disaster Piece vibes. Um, as far as the music went, and it was 3 to 3.5 hours is all it takes to get through it, and it's one of those games that's just like absolutely perfect for a one play run through. Um, you don't really want to stop once you get going anyway. So I really recommend Owned. You can get it pretty much everywhere if I remember right. It might be it might just be one system and PC right now, but it
Oh,
is
like one of those
releasing on
time
Switch
exclusive
later
affairs?
this year. Kinda, yeah. It's I think because it was only two people that that developed it. Um, they are taking their time to get the port to Switch later this year.
It
But
seems
I
like a
definitely
lot of
highly
people are
recommend it.
having. Oh, went back in there. But it seems like a lot of people are having trouble with Switch lately. And I'll mention that a little bit later. But yeah, it's the authentic. What's it called? Authentication process that they have or whatever. It always gets in the way.
Yeah.
But I'm going to
Uh,
talk about that later when I talk about what I've been playing. So.
Yeah, I definitely think that has a little bit of something to do with it, and then it's the actual infrastructure of what Nintendo uses to import all that kind of stuff.
Well, this
Um,
definitely looks really cool
yeah,
as I'm watching the
it's
footage here.
it's wild. As you can see in the video, for those that are listening on the pod, just imagine some colorful seascapes. I also said it kind of at times feels like you're in a petri dish. Uh, just because of all the things you're seeing. You can see some very sea life looking things. Your quote unquote character looks like a sand dollar to match the Xbox controller layout, basically.
It kind of reminds me of what was the one game that it was made by that game company who are responsible for Journey and Flower, but I can never remember
Yes.
their third game. And it's
Uh,
you're basically like an amoeba. It's kind of like photoplankton or whatever it's called for the DS. Do you
yeah.
remember? You know what I'm talking about?
Electroplankton was that one. Flow was that. Yeah.
Flow. Thank you. It reminds
Yeah.
me a lot of Flow. There's like some
Yeah.
phases where you're like Flow, and then there's phases where it's like Osu, like that rhythm game. Um,
hmm
so it's
Yeah.
really
It's
cool.
it's a it's exactly like all of that company games because for those of you that haven't listened to my review yet, one of the two people that developed it did work on Journey,
Oh, okay.
and
How about that?
I didn't confirm if they worked on the other stuff on Flower and Flow and stuff. But I mean, if you worked on Journey, you probably did work on the other ones. So yeah, it came from a really good line of developing processes. So
Oh my gosh,
it
I
was
love this.
very exciting to get through that game. Oh no, you're gonna love it, and I think it's only I think it's like $12 right now, something like that. And I will go ahead and thank Mixed Vision again. Mixed Vision is the publisher. I will profusely thank Mixed Vision for sending us the code for this because I really loved it, and I'm absolutely getting it on Switch when it comes out.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
and the next thing that I played, I am going to play all week or all weekend. That is Ghostwire Tokyo. It came out last Friday, competing directly with Kirby, which was a funny idea. But PS5 owners will probably agree with me that it was the next big thing to grab for them. Ghostwire Tokyo, developed by Tango GameWorks. It's just utterly cool.
And
There's
look at it.
no
It's
way around it.
I
Like
wish I want people to
everything.
like who are listening. I want them to go and watch the trailer for this right now because I cannot even
Yeah.
describe to you the it's almost like what is it, Watch Dogs, but
Yeah.
on drugs.
Right? It really I loved Breakdown, the original Xbox game that was a first person brawler, and this gave me so many Breakdown vibes. It's not even funny, but you're sitting here with this character that you basically know nothing about, and you're thrown right into this situation of for some reason you're in the middle of Tokyo, and your character's actually almost dead at the exact start of the game, and you're basically possessed by this ghost, and you don't know why, and the ghost actually thinks that you're dead when it happens, because you're just lying on the ground after like an explosion or whatever. So this fog is going through Tokyo and knocking people out, killing them, and then these others, I forget what they're officially called, but these ghostly creatures are walking around the city and taking people's souls. Um, it's very interesting. It feels for the little things that it's derivative of other games, it feels so original as a package. This thing is shiny. Like Tokyo is incredibly detailed. Like I read a whole lot of reviews before actually getting my hands on it, and they swayed me to just do it because you're not going to find another game that does Tokyo this exactly. And I've played Yakuza and Tokyo Mirage Sessions and the Neo the World Ends with You and shit like that, and it's just nothing compares with the level of detail here. And not only is it a shiny, beautiful, and wet landscape, like I can't tell you how awesome the lighting is in this game and all the mirror reflections and shit like that. But there is also a pet mechanic. I don't know how far it will go, but there are dogs and cats that you will find in game, and they are petable. And not only are they petable,
Yes.
but I think the cats have a thing that I have not figured out yet. But the dogs actually, specifically there's a Shiba Inu that you find first, and he actually helps take you to these souls that are almost past, um, like because they're getting gathered. So the dog will actually take you to these souls before they're passed, so you actually get like extra XP and all this stuff. So super cool. I just got a new weapon to use, this sweet looking bow, and I cannot wait to play the rest of it this weekend. See where that's going. It's just super cool and an incredibly fun time. I'm going to talk about it all next week, I'm sure.
I think we found your apex.
Right.
Oh man.
So
Is there,
so
well, I do
what?
have one more question. Is
Yeah.
there like any kind of Is it just single player experience, or is there any kind of like co-op or anything like
It's
that?
it's simply single player. I don't think there's anything else in the works on it. Um,
Man,
but
I would love to explore
I've
that universe with a friend.
yeah, I've seen that it's about 15 hours of gameplay. It is technically an open world, and as far as reviews go, most of the reviewers had said you don't really necessarily have the motivation to get past 15 hours. Like 15 hours is pretty much all you want to play of it, but knowing how much I love Tokyo and Japan, like I am definitely gonna like 100% that. So top end, I was seeing like 20 hours. Um, but I think it would be pretty hard to implement co-op, but that would be nice because it is a ridiculously pretty game. So that was my stuff that I've been playing this week. What have you been up to? So
Well, I don't really play video games anymore, so like I've just been chilling. Oh, not real
been
company. Yeah.
just being that filthy casual.
Oh yeah, I mean, once we played it that one night, I was just re-addicted again, and I've just been on and
Mm.
off like every day since. It's just so much fun. Just mindless, like shooting fun. You hop in, you do like a couple of rounds of strikeout, you hop out, you get the Jones, you hop back in. It's just a never-ending cycle of satisfaction. I love this game so much, and it's free, y'all, on all platforms. Free, including Game Pass. Haha, yeah. We'll talk about that later. But my gosh, and they added, I guess, this character named Umbra, who has like a spider that lives in his head. And it's like a little, if you've played the Spider-Man game, the new one for PS5, you have like a little remote control spider that can like spy on stuff and all that whatnot. Well, I mean, the spider's the same way, except for it also explodes and does like huge damage. So it's,
Nice.
I've seen it in action, and it's a bit of a pest, honestly. Like I don't know. It's hard to deal with, but it's a lot of fun to use as well. But yeah, real company. I mean, there's nothing I can't really say right now about it that I haven't already said in the past, except for you need to get it if you don't, you know. And
I'm definitely gonna hop on with you soon. Definitely let me know.
yeah, I'm so sad because Tegan and I we got into play like the other night, and it was just like, oh, Carlos is on vacation. Well, let's play some Real Company. One of his favorite games. Haha. But I felt bad. I mean, that's not how it went down, but I mean, that's what it felt like. Some kind of conspiracy.
All right. So was there no new game type technically when you were playing?
Well, there was. It's like a dodgeball mode, but I don't really know how it
Okay.
works. Because I've been playing mostly Strikeout, but it's like dodgeball Strikeout. I think we played it once. It was me. I think it was me, Chris, and Tegan. And
That
basically,
okay.
uh, when you eliminate somebody, you can't respawn until your team eliminates someone on the enemy team. So it's like dodgeball rules. When you get knocked out, you can't
Yeah.
come back in until all of that. So I don't know, it's tricky timing because sometimes you want to strategically uh, do your thing with the revival of your teammates because you don't want to bring them back right away because then they just might die immediately again and then you're back down with the numbers disadvantage. So I don't really know how I feel about it. It's a better mode to me than Demolition. I despise Demolition, but that's Valorant's fault because Demolition could take 5 years and I'm not here for it. So,
Yeah.
but that's the newest one that I know of. If they have added any more of, as of this recording, which is on the 31st, then I wouldn't know because I haven't played today. So I don't know. We'll see. They're always coming out with some kind of new rotation thing, so I wouldn't be surprised if they crank out something new anytime soon.
Yeah. I think that's season 4 right now. So they're always making some updates.
And I think season 4 is like based on like mecha like Gundams and stuff, futuristic cyber Neo stuff. I think it's called like Neo Cyber something. I can't remember. But a lot of the skins in this battle pass are like really cool if you like Gundam, if you like Super Sentai, like Power Rangers and Super Sentai Rangers, if you like things like that. Really good skins there. But the other thing that I have been playing is Pokemon Unite. Haha. I mean, I have been, but not as much as I've been playing Splatoon 2 lately. I've decided to jump back into that ring because Splatoon 3 is coming out, what, in the summer? And it's been a really long time since I have messed around in that world. So I wanted to like jump back in and shake off the rest. And I played with one of my community, well, not one of my community, but we met through the community of Splatoon. So I played with him on his stream, and it was a lot of fun to just jump back in there and like whack people in the face with my ink brush because I don't do guns in that game. Guns are sorted, and I want to make it personal. I'm trying to get in your face and slap you around a bit. So the ink brush is my weapon of choice in that, which is a very, very close range melee weapon. Like you got to get in their face. It's got a little bit of range to it because, of course, this is a shooter, but it's tiny. You got to smack around. It's a melee weapon, essentially. But yeah,
That's still where the competition, like the competitive players go. If you're not using that or the rollers, pretty much it. I am personally a dualies kind of guy though, so if you need a dualies player, I'll hop in with you sometime.
dualies are fun, but I can't grasp the gameplay because, when you do the little dually dash, it uses up your ink somewhat. And of course, there are perks and stuff that you can equip to your clothing to, mitigate how much you lose and how much how quickly you gain it back. But I'm really bad with resource management in like basically anything. So I'll just use all of my dashes at the start and then I won't be able to like shoot anybody because I'm out of ink because I used all my dashes. And I'm like, well, guess I'll die. So people who are like really skillful with the dualies, like respect, because I'm not. I can't. I'm also really bad with chargers too. Don't ask me to snipe at all. In a game without a mouse, sniping is surprisingly difficult. Well, I guess I shouldn't say that because people play Halo and whatnot, but um, in
But just
Splatoon, I
the
guess
way
it's
that
just
they charge.
yeah. It feels like you have to like snap after you shoot rather than snap to align your shot. It's different.
It's not as predictive, yeah. Like you still have to know where they're gonna be when you let go of it, but like
Oh,
I
this is
feel
so
like every
exciting.
time I played with that, it was like 10% accuracy.
Yeah, but some people are really good with it. Like when you get a good charger on your team, the enemy team is going to be down one player no matter what, at least. So
Yep.
I mean, it's really, really oppressive in the right hands, and you can always maintain that. My favorite thing, which is numbers advantage, because the more people you have over your enemy, the more you can do whatever they can. So hey, play the objective or play the numbers.
Right.
But that is all I have been playing. I did dive a little bit into Coromon, because that came out today on the 31st,
Yep.
officially on PC. And that's what I was going to talk about is that the Switch edition was delayed. Suppress!
Yeah.
Just kidding, because no one's surprised when that happens because of their authentication system. Mostly it's the crossplay that's the issue. So they have to get everything set up like, I don't know, server wise or whatever for crossplay. But that's mainly the delay on that end. But hey, if you like monster tamers and you're kind of sick of what Pokemon has to offer, which I would be too. I mean, it's Sword and Shield was not their best installment, I will admit. Check out Coromon. It harkens back to the 2D roots of Pokemon, so like Gold and Silver and Ruby Sapphire. And it's got like but it still has like all the abilities and stuff and traits and characteristics that you used to. So like all of the passive abilities that trigger during certain times in battle. It's got the inherent better genes, like IVs. Except for they call it something else in Coromon. It's got all of that. So it still have all of the competitive edge and stuff of competitive Pokemon VGC that we see today. But like, 2B, or 2B, 8-bit, 2D charm. Well, 16-bit. It's colored. So like super duper. Really vibrant. Music's really good. Like I would really recommend. I mean, you guys have heard me talk about this game on the podcast before. So I mean everything that I've said in the past applies here. Except now it's out. It's out of demo. You can play the full game for real now.
Yes.
Not for play. So
It does look really good.
yeah.
I honestly didn't think that they were doing multiplayer. That's kind of a surprise to me. I don't think Nexamon did, so that's
No, I think Nexomon was
really
a
cool.
completely single player experience, but this has like fully built-in PvP capabilities, and I'm not really sure what kind of like league rules that they're gonna instill. I think we're just gonna have to wait for the meta to like shape as we discover some of it, because not all of the Coromon were available in the demo. Once you reach a certain point in the demo, that was it. You know. And then what's cool about the demo is that if you play the full game, it transfers over. Your demo experience transfers over to the full game.
Sweet.
So I might even just start out with the demo before, going all out and getting the game. And then if you like it, getting the game because, it transfers over. You don't lose anything except time. But we're always all losing time.
But this is
Anyway, this
not
is
a
the podcast
podcast.
about about existential crises. This is the podcast about games. So yeah, that's what I've been playing.
Good to hear. And chat, if you want us to get into some nihilistic, dark, dark times, that's when you need to campaign for the Party Invite podcast After Dark.
After dark, right?
Because that's when we loaded up on Drank.
We're just getting
Oh
deep with it,
man.
man. Just getting deep.
So,
Okay.
if you're ready, do you need to take a break or anything?
Oh no, I'm good to go. As
Cool.
long as I have my water, I'll be fine.
All right. So, we're going to go ahead and get into the party topic then. So, with PlayStation's news on their quote unquote Spartacus program, which is officially the just new PlayStation Plus packages, we now officially have 3 services that the main console competitors are providing to milk gamers of their most valuable dollar. But, with that, there's a lot of value in some of these things. So, we're going to go ahead and go over the 3 competitors and then go from there as far as what we get out of it, what we think it truly means to have all these services right now, and maybe discuss uh, where is all of our money actually going. So to start, I'll go ahead and go over the new PlayStation Plus packages. To make it quick and simple, there's the $10 version is PlayStation Plus Essential, which is just PlayStation Plus as it is currently.
I mean, I guess Essential is a really good name for that because you can't have the rest of it without the base.
Yeah,
I feel like they went to
right.
it the source though, but so instead of saying like basic or anything like that, they were just like, we should use essential. Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, put that in there.
Right. And so that gets you the ability to play online and the ability to pick up the PlayStation Plus special games. So whether that was Final Fantasy VII remake at one point, and then they're gonna trick you, of course, like any other service will, and they'll put the Tiny Tina's Wonderland one shot instead of uh, instead
Oh
of like
no! Wait, did they
something else.
really do that?
Yeah, they put the Tiny Tina's one shot, which was for Borderlands 2, on PlayStation Plus, and it
Oh no,
freaked
and then
people
it
out for a
confuses
minute.
people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
um, and so that was again the essential, which is PS Plus as it is now. So we go up to $15, and that's PlayStation Plus Extra. That gets you a game catalog, right? A game catalog. It's not very specific yet, but that's PS4/PS5 releases. So I would assume that there's occasionally a first party game, but according to the press release that went out for this, it's not going to be all first party games or anything like that, and certainly not day one. Um, and that's it. So that's the qualifier of PlayStation of Sony saying, okay, so what we want you to do is the $18 package, which is PlayStation Plus Premium. That's your plus monthly games, your game catalog, quote unquote, uh, streaming of PlayStation 3 titles, which we can assume that's everything that's on PlayStation Now currently, uh, and classic games, which classic games and streaming are like the same thing in this package apparently, but that's the PlayStation Now stuff, and then game trials, which we've seen before with Switch, and we'll talk about that. But game trials obviously are some specialized demos. I'm sure it'd be things more modern things like I'm sure Final Fantasy 16 is going to have something like they did with 15. I mean, they had like 3 demos, I think, when 15 came out, and none of them made sense, and I think one of them was kind of like the actual final game was, but that's neither here nor there. So that again was the new PlayStation Plus packages. That's the news of the day. Of course, we know Game Pass.
Oh, here
Game
we
Pass
go. Carlos with his Game Pass.
Ultimate.
That's good. Let's hear it.
I'm gonna make this short and sweet. Game Pass Ultimate is really the only package. I mean, you can technically buy for $10 Game Pass for PC, but most people aren't going to do that because Ultimate's just much more of a value. $15 gets you Gold live multiplayer service, games with Gold, which can actually be up to 48 free games in a year. I think last year hit that number, which is ridiculous. Not always great games, but sometimes really good games.
Brink.
I think at one point, yeah, well. So, besides that, Ultimate also gets you first party games on day one of release, a lot of indies on day one of release. Right now, specifically Raw Fury games and a lot of Devolver Digital games. And as you know, we cannot fucking stop talking about those games. So, like, it's
Yeah,
some of the best stuff you can get.
we're the least sponsored sponsors for Devolver Digital. I mean, that's
Right?
like besides just our brunch specials, which are dominated by uh Devolver Digital. Like we're always in the Discord playing something by them. So
Yeah, exactly. And so again, you have cloud gaming, PC, and then a ton of perks with the Game Pass Ultimate. And those perks, like you can get an extra dragon in Century. Was it Age of Ashes?
yeah,
Okay, like you could get a dragon there. Rogue Companies actually had a pack. I think from season 2 through season 4, they've had a special pack via Game Pass. Fantasy Star Online has special perks. Warframe's had perks. Destiny at one point had perks. Uh, of course, right now you can get the free month of Paramount Plus. You used to be able to get 3 months of Spotify, a month of Discord Nitro, like just ridiculous amounts of things there. Um, it's wild how many things are there. But we'll talk more about that once we get to our third one. What is that third service, Saf?
yes. As the resident Nintendo noble, I will break it down for you. But before I do, I just want to talk about how often you said on day one there. So Sony, I'm gonna need you to listen to that and then correct the mistakes of not getting all these classic games on there day one. Mr. Jim Ryan, I'm calling you out by name, sir. Not that
Oh,
you'll ever hear me, but I hope you do, because we need them day one steps. We want to play them. Give them to us, please. Thank you. Huh. So, Nintendo service, which is, as we all know, Nintendo Switch Online. Um, I mean, when they announced like the new price and everything, a lot of people thought it was like super duper expensive. But like once you break it down, like it's actually a really, really good deal. Like I'm not gonna say it's as good a deal as Game Pass, because I don't think anything's as good a deal as Game Pass. And I mean, I don't know if you noticed or anything, but I'm like huge on Nintendo. So, I mean, that's coming from a Nintendo fan child. Game Pass is probably the best deal of the three, but Nintendo's is not as bad as people make it out to be. And I'm a poet and I didn't know it. Hey. So, before the expansion pack, getting it, alone singly was $20 per year, I think. Is it yearly?
mhm. Yeah.
And then the family pack was $35, which is only $15 more, which is fine. The family pack covers up to 8 people. So that's a lot of, I mean, if you're not looking like interested in the N64 or anything like that, $35 is not a bad deal. The single one is definitely a bad deal. Do not get, like, if you're getting the online deal or Nintendo Switch Online, please do not get it by yourself. Like, talk to some friends, talk to your family who has Switches. If they don't have Switches, buy them Switches and then do it. See, excellent value. Saving money already.
Wait a second.
But the family is definitely, definitely the best deal there, with or without the pack. But with the pack, it's going to be, if you do it singly, it's $50. 50, which is, I mean, a $30 uprise from the single, without the pack. And I will admit that's asking a lot, considering how much of a good deal the family pack is, which is $80 with the expansion pack. And what makes that a good deal is if you can find someone to fill those slots in your family pack, which again is up to 8 people, that's only $10 per person. 10. per year for the entire catalog of Nintendo Switch Online, which is updating
Yeah.
all the time. I want to say monthly, but I could be wrong. And that expansion pack once again includes the N64, library that they're always updating. Was Banjo-Kazooie the last game that they added? I think it was. That could be wrong again. I'm not gonna make assumptions, but I mean Banjo-Kazooie's on there, period. So I mean, hey, that's already the value.
Yeah,
But
they
not only
just
does
released new NES stuff yesterday.
yeah, and I think that the SNES one is due for an update too. I heard a rumor flying around here that we might be getting something there, which I hope it's going to be Legend of the Seven Stars, because why didn't they put that on there in the first place? Oh, well, you know why? Because Square is Square. So, um, but it not only includes the N64 library, it comes with the Genesis library, which they're updating as well. Some pretty niche games on there, like Streets of Rage 2. I don't know if y'all heard of that one. Especially not for me, the beat 'em up fanatic. They've got a whole bunch of standards on there. I mean, that you can check out. I mean, there's like a whole list you could see online. I don't really know what else on there, but hey, Genesis games. And I'm not done yet. DLC for certain Switch games. So Animal Crossing got the Happy Home Designer DLC, which is like it adds so much mechanically that I was overwhelmed. I was like, this is a DLC? This is a whole nother game. And it was on the DS. It was a whole nother game. But now they just decided to tack that on to New Horizons. But honestly, New Horizons was kind of missing so much already. It needed that, so I don't blame them. But it adds a whole new like island tour thing where you can go to different islands and happy home decorate for villagers. And it's got new mechanics which you can then take back to your main island, and like all this stuff, all this stuff. New furniture, new types of furniture, like wall ceiling hangings that you can do. That was there before. And of course, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe coming out with that DLC, the booster pack, which is what, 48 courses?
It's a ton.
And if you break that down, it's only like 25 cents or something per course. So, I mean, all of that comes free with the expansion pack if you decide to get it. For $10 a month, if you have, the max amount of people. I only have 5 people in mind, but it's still a good value. Hey, if anybody wants to join my thing, subscribe. No, I'm just kidding. On Twitch, of course. Subscribe on Twitch, because hey. But yeah, that's the Nintendo. That's the Nintendo one. To Switch Online. I mean, I don't know if you have anything to add on that. I know I'm the big Regent Nintendo thing, but I know that you also play on your Switch.
Oh yeah, quite a bit. Yeah, it is a value for sure. I haven't really dove deep into as much of the 64 stuff as I really want to, but like if I just start, I know I'm not gonna stop. So
Yeah. I mean, N64 games are pretty big time sinks anyway, looking at Ocarina of Time.
yeah.
And
Like Banjo-Kazooie is like the one, but I think Paper Mario is the one I'm holding out for all the way. Like once it's there, I'm gonna finally just be like, fine, I will play. I'll get to it. And I mean, I'm not necessarily missing anything right now because uh, I've got a lot of this stuff on my DS. So, um, it's still valid on the DS right now. So, it's absolutely worth it. Like I have no problems with it. Of course, really, the only time people are actually having problems with Switch Online is when they're talking about Smash and the actual netcode of the game. Like that's
we
it.
don't talk about it.
It's really the
How are you
only
gonna update
bashing
your
you can do on
internet
it.
and then still have bad internet? Like, it's crazy. But that's neither here nor there. That's not the online we want to talk about, because that's just
That's right.
sad.
So now that we've explained the offerings of these services, we have to have that discussion that the industry as a whole has been talking about this week. So, what's the effect of these services on like actual game sales? Um, Xbox had come out with a nifty set of graphics earlier this week or late last week that actually presented info that Game Pass subs actually end up spending more money on games outside of Game Pass, which a lot of detractors were saying that's not going to happen. Nobody's going to keep buying fucking games if you just have Game Pass all year. Actually, the opposite. Because it is giving a lot of people that that exposure to indies, a lot of games that they may not have played otherwise. If we already mentioned that we talk so much about indies, we do get some influence out there to play certain games, and when it's on Game Pass, it's like, bitch, you better play it. Like we can't say enough about it.
Well, I mean, you gotta
Yeah.
buy Game Pass, but otherwise it's free.
But still, even if I bought no other games ever, I would be full to the brim with stuff to do just with Game Pass. It's ridiculous. But it does give you that little sense of security, like I played Flynn, Son of Crimson, and I played a couple hours of it. It's still on Game Pass, but they released it on Switch, and there's actually a physical version that's coming out. And why can I not remember which one it is? It's Super Rare Games, I think. I think it's Super Rare Games that's doing the Switch physical. And guess what? I'm gonna buy that. It's gonna support the developers in another way, because I realized that, hey, that is a game that I actually really enjoyed on Game Pass. And despite the fact that I actually played it on the cloud version of Game Pass, I felt like that translated to, hey, if this comes to Switch, this is a definite must buy, right? So there's a lot of little things like that Game Pass does that does, for me at least, prove that I can definitely spend more money on games outside of the service just by that little bit of influence. But what about you?
Well, you raise a good point in that you got to try out a game and then fully buy it on another platform. That's really cool, because you don't lose out on anything if you decide to try something and decide you don't like it. And you could do that with a lot of games. If you've been holding out on a game, like to go on sale or anything like that, bam, pops up on Game Pass. Oh, I could finally try this out and see if I want to actually get it. And then, I mean, you'll have it on Game Pass for as long as it's there. But, if you like it, or if it's on a different platform you'd rather play on, i.e. the Switch, then there you go. You have your little demo there, and then you have your full purchase. So I like that supports what we heard about the graphic that the Xbox had to say, because it's not only just AAA titles that are being purchased full price. It's, the indie titles that you try out and then find on a different platform, or, buy on PC or whatever. That's really cool. But I definitely don't function that way, because my wallet is struggling, y'all. So, I mean, I'm not out here trying to pay AAA prices for stuff. I do appreciate the value that Game Pass has, which is why I have it. And also, my partner, he can play the games that he wants to try out too, because, we both do the thing with the games. But, like, I love me a good free-to-play game. Like, it's free. Oh, that looks cool. Let me just download it right now without having to pay any money. Like, that's the best thing in the world. Despite most free-to-play games coming with, like, a battle pass or, the premium currency and all that, it's a games as a service sort of thing. And I really, really do not like that model, like, at all. But it's a free game, y'all. For free. So I can just add to, like, my backlog of, like, oh my gosh, so many things in my backlog. Ever growing. But I could do that without breaking my bank. If there's something new I want to try, or want to take a break from what I'm already playing, then I could just go to, like, free to play. And I mean, you do have to dig through some of the muck to get to some of the good stuff, but there's really good stuff out there. And the stuff that's really, really good, we usually have a founder's pack if it's in early access. And I do like the early access games as well. But that's where my purchases come in, is founders packs. When it comes to, like, the free to play stuff, like, I'll have my Game Pass, but then I'll have games that are free to play, and then they'll have the founders packs. That's how they get me every time. Like this year, I bought Century. Is it Rise of Ashes or Age of Ashes? I can never remember. I always mix it up. Is it Age of Ashes? Okay.
I literally asked you that.
Well, see, I was gonna say earlier when you asked me, I was like, I'm not the person to ask, because I get that mixed up all the time. Like,
I'm pretty sure it's Age of Ashes.
I have several tweets out on Twitter that's just like, I always get this wrong. But Century, Age of Ashes.
Yes,
that's a free to play game technically, but I bought, like, the most expensive Founders Pack I could when I was like obsessed with that game. Because I waited like 3 months or something for it. So I was like, bam. Lost Ark, which kind of bit me in the back because I didn't even play that anymore. I played it like for 30 minutes, but I bought the Founders Pack for that anyway. It's fine, but it is free to play. And then not this year, but another one was what's it called? Godfall. That one didn't start out as free to play as far as I know, but I did buy the Founders Pack for that one because it was basically like Borderlands but with swords and super duper pretty, and it had intrigued me from like the very beginning, and so I had to have it. So I bought the Founders Pack for that as well. But Founders Packs usually end up being the prices of like AAA titles that we see, you know, $60, $70, and then the heftier ones usually end up being more so. So even though I'm more invested in free-to-play games at the moment, sometimes I'll still drop that big bank on a Founders Pack. Especially like if I'm mildly interested in the game at all. Because like if I do decide to play it, I'll have like exclusive loot. I'll be stunting on the fools, like Blood Owl, you know? But as far as Game Pass facilitating those Founders Pack purchases, I'm not on that graph at all. I'm broke. So I have Game Pass and I do free to play.
But they do have that kind of stuff. I mean, like we already talked about the perks of the free to play games that we mentioned, and there's 2 or 3 anime titles that I do not remember right now. And I think even Smite has had perks on Game Pass before. So like with that and bringing up your point, Godfall is coming to Xbox, and everybody's 99% sure it'll be on Game Pass within like 3 months from now.
I wouldn't be surprised.
It'll be so damn funny when that officially happens. But actually, Godfall on Xbox period is next week. So let's go.
That in like that 4K from like the newest system. Oof. Oh
man. Yeah. So we'll definitely see where that goes.
I will say that there are some games that I would be willing to sacrifice for, as far as full price like AAA titles, and almost all of them are Nintendo games. Because I feel like Nintendo just provides that experience. Like it's worth the money, you know. Nintendo games don't depreciate for a reason. Like you will still see Mario games and GameStop for $60 used for a reason, though, you know. So those are the only games that, like, I mean, at the moment that I would really consider. Like, I need to buy like Kirby. I want to get that game so badly. And the Forgotten Lands. Responsibility holds me back, but it is on my list to buy full price because it deserves it. It will. I know it will.
Yeah, that brings up my last point for sure. Like this year, just in general, this year in particular contains possibly the most impressive list of must buy day one titles for me ever. And it just all these services just serve as a reminder that there's a balance that we have to do as gamers. Like I have to make up my mind on a few games still. Of course, I didn't get Horizon because it's PS5, and Elden Ring I didn't because I knew that there's like 20 other games I need to buy, and I didn't want to put in 100 hours. Sorry, Odysseus. But
it's also
for
a
the
Souls
year,
board, so you're not really missing out on much if you've played the other games.
Yeah, like it's honestly a game I could play in 5 years and be like, hell yeah, this is nice, and then just go off and do my thing.
Just like a little moment of joy, and then okay,
yeah,
life now.
yeah, because I know it's good, like, but I also don't have to if it's not bringing that narrative that is like at least a somewhat linear narrative, or at least a better explained narrative than it is currently, then I'm just gonna be like, for now. Like I'm gonna play Sekiro later this year, and that was what three almost 4 years ago. But like so far this year, I've bought Triangle Strategy and Ghostwire Tokyo day one, and then I have on my list Switch Sports. Thankfully, that's $40 game, I think. Advance Wars whenever it actually releases. Chrono Cross: The Radical Dreamers, Forspoken, Live Alive, Xenoblade 3, Trek to Yomi, Neon White, Bayonetta 3, Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes. Like, I, in theory, should not physically be able to buy all these. I might be able to maneuver some things, but, like, it's ridiculous how many games we can even collectively say this shit's worth it. Like, plenty of people. Elden Ring is obviously worth it if the average person is putting 80 to 100 hours into it, right?
I mean, that's
Um,
just mandatory playtime, though. That's just the story alone. That's like no side quests or anything.
yeah. Horizon, average 50 to 70 hours, I think, is what most people are doing in that. Obviously, these are a couple of the big open world games, but Triangle Strategy, people are putting 50 to 70 hours into that, and that's $60. Like, at the end of the day, these services bring up the fact that, okay, if I just decide that I can buy 3 titles day one, maybe I should just put that money towards a year of Game Pass, right? and that would be the thing. Like, I know not everybody played Halo for its campaign, but holy shit, play Halo for its campaign. Like, Infinite Day One, upcoming games is definitely a little bit more where the where people will talk about the exclusives. Because yes, Xbox has had fewer exclusives over the past couple of years, whatever. So Forza and
Gears of War.
Halo for last year, Gears the year before that. But coming up, you've got a Plague Tale Requiem, you've got Senua's Saga. Like, there are some banger ass games. Starfield, which is not officially on my list of must buys because I need to fucking see gameplay, but that's this year. And that's gonna be the other game of the year candidate, I'm sure, because people will not fucking stop talking about it. But there are so many games that are going to make that that 180 for the year, which you can honestly get cheaper on a lot of sketchy deals. But maximum $180 a year is going to be worth it for the majority of people out there. Like high schoolers, even. Like, if you have a part-time gig as a kid, like, you're gonna say, you know what, I bet I could work just enough to make 3 games worth of money over this year.
I know that's right.
um
Like, I wish Game Pass had come out when I was like younger, because I cannot tell you how many times my mom has said, "Oh, you got Nintendo money?" Like, no, that's why I'm asking you, mom. Like, I don't know why you keep coming with me like with this. Like, just please let me have it. I just want my Pokemon, please. And then she'd just be like, "Mm-hmm." You're like, "Go get your Pikachu's," and I'm like, "Mom, it's not even like, okay."
She's
But
like, you don't need 2 versions of that game. What are you talking about?
you gotta have friends. But no, Game Pass, I mean, she would have loved, loved, loved Game Pass. And I'm sure that she loves Nintendo Switch Online too, because now I don't have to bug her for, Nintendo money. Because I got my Nintendo money with the Family Pass.
Mom, I'm just asking for 35, please.
Oh
Please.
no, I got the expansion pack. Honey, you know me. You know me.
Uh, oh, and that also brings up, today we had the rumor. It's not verified yet, but it's potentially soon. The rumor is that Game Pass is officially going to have a family version coming soon.
Ooh.
So that it's I normally don't talk rumors because I hate that, but this one feels substantiated, and it would make sense because Xbox, actually, a lot of the big players in the industry have been hinting towards stuff over the next couple weeks, and we are getting into that pre E3 mood. So looking forward to hearing that. That would be pretty cool.
Well, I have some news for you about E3. It ain't happening. They are not doing a physical, in person, or digital show this year, and they haven't really cited the reasons as to why as of this podcast. But I mean, it's highly suspected that, COVID's still running rampant because people don't know how to act. So, yeah, no, see what happens when you don't do what the people say, the experts. We lose E3. But honestly, I mean, as much as it was on my bucket list, like go to one of the E3 conventions, like expos or whatever, it's like it's kind of archaic, you know, it's a little outdated. It's like
Yeah.
even before, you know, the happening, uh, they started to do like digital showcases. Nintendo was the first one I think to do it. They started to do their like digital treehouse and their digital like directs and presentations and things like that. But then, you know, Sony and Microsoft caught on to like, hey, this is, I mean, it's probably cost efficient because they don't have to worry about going out all the way out there, sending all the people and renting space and whatnot. But you know, they kind of they're like, hey, this is actually pretty good. It gets all the information out to like a whole bunch of people. We don't have to worry about uh, rabid fans trying to maul us because they'll be sitting at their computer screens, you know. But yeah, before the whole COVID and everything happened, it was already on its way out. So I'm glad they decided to finally bite the bullet and be like, okay, we'll leave. I guess we're not gonna tell you why though, haha. Like, but yeah, it's not happening. Sad.
It's it's bittersweet, really, because yeah, it has always been a one of those benchmark things. Like way back when, it was like, all right, if I could get to an MLG tournament, I'll be happy. If I can go to E3, I'll be happy. Now it's, can I go to PAX? You know, can
Right.
I
Or
go to
Evo.
GDC or Evo? Yeah. So like E3 is the last line, and we gave them a lot of chances. The whole ESAA board bullshit that they have, the doxing of all those people, what, 2-3 years ago, uh,
Ugh.
and last year's horrifying presentation of their web presence, which was just bad.
Yeah, I thought that
We
nothing could top
documented that.
the Diablo, what's it called? Infinite, the mobile game that Blizzard has come with. They were just like, what, y'all don't have phones?
Yeah.
Like, I didn't think that anybody could top that at all. And I was just like, oh, okay. E3 said, let me get my beer. Hold on.
Yeah. So RIP to E3, but you know, other stuff is taking care of us, I think.
Yeah, woo, TwitchCon. Hey. By the way, starting a
Bring
GoFundMe,
on
fund my trip and I'll have fun. Thanks to you, but also without you. Thank you, please.
TwitchCon would definitely be pretty nice.
It's in
One of these
October, so you have
days.
plenty of time to save up if that's something that you're interested in. I'm talking to everybody, not just you, Vilos.
What time of year is TwitchCon? I don't.
This year it's October. It's like early in October, like 7th or something like that. It's
Okay,
in San Diego. According to the website. I mean, it could change. That's what it says
that's
when you
fair.
like bring it up.
Yeah, maybe we will do a fundraiser party,
Hey,
invite
party
people.
invite, go to TwitchCon.
Maybe you should talk to us and donate or sub or
Subscribe.
something.
But I think we are getting off track here. I think that's everything
Yes.
that we had planned for this evening.
Yeah, that's really it as far as the party topic goes. I will say one last thing on the whole E3 thing. If you didn't know, just a little blip of news. Samantha from Nintendo Treehouse left Nintendo uh,
Wait, what? No,
earlier
she was so cool.
last
No.
Friday. Yeah, so she was really cool. She was such a presence, and we may not reach her audience necessarily, but Samantha, if you're hearing this, seeing this, whatever, thank you for the very fun years of the Treehouse, because
Now I'm
you will be missed
sad.
for sure.
Da da da
Um,
da 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 da. Ba, 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 da, 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 da,
we clipping that. But yeah, that's Samantha Robertson of Nintendo Treehouse. We will miss her for sure. You know, just another one in the long line of developers and people in the industry that are just, you know, want to live life because things are happening.
Yeah, I
But
don't blame her.
that,
Hey.
yeah, that's it of our last words for this podcast. So if you don't have anything else,
I do not.
okay, well, this has been the Party Invite podcast. Thank you so much for listening, watching, or joining us in the live chat on Twitch. We love you guys. Here's your weekly reminder to find more of our content as well as our community by going to www.partyinvite.games. I've been Vilos. that over there is SovereignSyd. I don't know if I'm pointing in the right direction. And
What is the right direction?
oh my god, I have no idea. And I'm gonna play some more Ghostwire Tokyo this weekend, so hit me up if you want to know more about that. Bye.
Party hardy, y'all. Bye.